This is episode 111, coming to you straight from Austin, Texas. I am here at the OCD Conference, and I can't wait to share this episode with you. Welcome to Your Anxiety Toolkit. I'm your host, Kimberly Quinlan. This podcast is fueled by three main goals. The first goal is to provide you with some extra tools to help you manage your anxiety. Second goal, to inspire you. Anxiety doesn't get to decide how you live your life. And number three, and I leave the best for last, is to provide you with one big, fat virtual hug. Because experiencing anxiety ain't easy. If that sounds good to you, let's go. Well, welcome back. Oh my goodness. You guys. I know. I have the weirdest voice right now. It is Saturday. I'm here at the conference. It is day 3. I usually lose my voice around day 3 to 4, but I am breaking all kinds of records over here because I lost it literally on day 1. So I'm doing everything I can and everything in my power to keep my voice because I still have 2 more presentations to go. Oh my goodness. It's like Murphy's Law. If what can go wrong will go wrong. And I lose it every single time. But I am actually in my room. It's a beautiful, beautiful Austin day. And I am overlooking this beautiful city of Austin, Texas. I'm not going to lie, Austin, Texas is pretty stinking hot. And I come from Los Angeles. But besides the heat, it is glorious here. And the people are beautiful here and kind and open and gentle and friendly. So these are my people, right? Very, very much these are my people. I want to use this episode to just give you a few little things that I've taken away so far. I know a lot of you logistically couldn't make it, financially couldn't make it, maybe didn't even know it. This event exists, the International OCD Foundation Conference. It is the 26th annual conference this year, and I am so honored to be a part of such an amazing community and event. But I want to deliver to you through the microphone a little bit of what you might take away from here if you were here. So first of all, the first thing I want to say, and probably the most important thing I want to say is, holy smokes, you guys, you are incredible. For everyone who is listening to this and who came up and said hello to me and gave me a nice, great big hug, said, I feel like I know you, and I feel like it's so weird to actually see you in person. The beautiful cards that some people gave me and the beautiful gifts some people gave were out of this world, so generous and so kind, and I get brought to tears at you guys, this community, this amazing, beautiful group of people. And I said to as many people as I could, when I do this podcast, I'm just talking into a microphone. I'm usually sitting in a bed or on the carpet, or I'm eating, you guys know me, I'm eating Swedish fish. The whole thing is just me, myself, and a microphone. And I have so many more faces to visualize now, that to talk to when I do this podcast. And I just adore meeting you, and I adore the kind words, and I'm so grateful for your support. So the first thing I personally have taken away is that you guys are my people. Thank you so much from the very bottom of my heart. Really. Okay. Number 2, I'm going to kind of do this in order, right? So number 2, for many of you who knew, I was presenting quite a lot. I think I presented 6 times. The first presentation that I did was with Michelle Massey, and it's the Compassion Collective. It's my baby. You guys know, if anyone receives the newsletter through CBT School, it's called the Compassion Collective. We have a Compassion Collective here at the OCD Conference. It's the second year we've done it. And it's where we meet every morning at the incredibly horrid early morning hour of 7 o'clock, which I know isn't that late, but at conferences, when you're out late and you're doing things all day, you have to muster up a ton of energy to get there. So thank you for everyone who went. But this Compassion Collective is where we meet every morning. We set an intention to be compassionate throughout the day. Now, guys, this is huge, and I'm going to invite you and encourage you to do such a practice. Have it be the first thing you do in the morning. You sit down and you make an intention, and you know that you're a part of this amazing collective of people, this group of people who are also on a mission to be kinder to themselves. Because from that first, group that we ran, the thing that I heard the most was just how hard we are on ourselves. You guys, I understand anxiety, depression, mental illness, the surroundings of culture. It's harsh and it's cruel and it can be so abusive. But you guys, we have to take a stand and stop calling ourselves names. And that was the big thing I took away. There were multiple people who shared some words that they call themselves, and I just about burst into tears. And I'm going to take a guess that you're doing the same thing. Using words like stupid and failure and annoying and not good enough and dumb and weak. And these words, they're just not true. Believe me on this. We as humans are too hard on ourselves. And I discussed with the group, and someone said, why do you think we are? Why? And I don't know for everybody, but I think that many people, this is my take anyway, many people who have anxiety tend to do a specific type of cognitive error or cognitive distortion called black and white thinking, where they think that if that's not entirely perfect, it's really bad. If they don't do really well in the test, they are now dumb. If they're not thin, they must be fat. If they're not the best, they're the worst. And we do this black and white thinking all the time. And the truth is, it's never black and white. I could always challenge that. It's never black and white. It's always in the gray. And we have to learn to be in the gray, right? And accept ourselves in the gray. Now, the thing that really struck me was one of the people in the group said, they came right and said to the whole group, like, I remember being in this group last year, and the one thing I took away last year was what Kimberly had said, which is, please shoot for a B-, not an A+, not an A-, not a B+, but a B-. Stop pushing yourself to be the best and be perfect and be all things to all people and be so hard on yourself that you're expecting this high level of perfection. Let's just be a B-. You guys, this is what I am. I have fully embraced my B-ness. You guys know there are often spelling mistakes in some of my copywriting, because the truth is, none of this would happen if I was expecting perfection. In effort to be the best version of myself, I allow myself to be a B-, because that's when I show up the most. Not show up the best, but I show up the most. So I just wanted to share that little nugget with you and hope that maybe that resonates with you, because that was the main discussion that I took away from the Compassion Collective. Now, I was, number 3, so honored to run the women's group. This is a group of incredibly brave women, all of which who have OCD and or has a family member who has obsessive compulsive disorder or an anxiety disorder of some kind. And oh my goodness, I can't even share with you the love that was experienced in that session warmed me and lit me up at the same time. I don't know what that is. I don't know the word for that. But here we have, and if you weren't in the group, I'm speaking to you too, because I know you're this person. You're these people that I got to meet, is these incredibly brave, charismatic, stunning, strong, just wise, caring people. And that's who you guys are. I know this. And they sat across from each other and they shared and they cried and they opened up about things they had said they'd told nobody. Fears about harming children and, being a bad human and harming other people and sexual thoughts, and talked about relationships and failures. And you guys, you showed up. And if you were there, this electricity that was in the room, in that it's just, they were unapologetically themselves. And they didn't show up perfect. Some people stumbled on their speech and they took some time and they had to pass to talk. And all of that was perfect. All of that was amazing because they came together. They were authentic. They shared this common theme of struggle. And they came together. And I want you guys to feel that here. And I want you to know the message that was shared among so many of these women were that, someone had asked, let me sort of give you a brief rundown. Someone had asked, I've never told this to anybody. How do you tell your friends, your family, your colleagues, your boss, your teacher? How did you tell them? And the majority of women shared, I just dabbled in it. I started very slowly and I just shared. And if they didn't like it, they weren't my friends to begin with. They were not the friends who can continue to support me, but the ones who I shared with, who asked questions and were curious. And maybe their friends and family didn't ask the correct, easy questions, but they were interested and they were invested. And through this process, they shared that they had become empowered by sharing and by unapologetically being themselves. And this warmed me. And again, I wondered if that was something maybe you needed to hear. There are always going to be people who don't receive our personal information well and in a way that we need. But that's just information on who you can go to and who you can't. And keep working, keep finding, keep looking for the people who get it. Because most of the time, as we all experienced in the groups, once you share, somebody else feels brave enough to share. And then once two people have shared, more people shared. And then we started talking about things that nobody had shared yet. And we got down to the raw stuff. And that's what sharing is, right? Okay. Number 4. And this is something that I have had I've had conversations with people, not just people who are here, who are people who have OCD, but the therapists and the presenters. We're all having these conversations because you can see that come Saturday, it's day 3, and everyone's exhausted. You can see it on their faces. They have a smile on their face, but they're exhausted. They're going to presentation after presentation after presentation, and they're learning and they're sharing and they're asking questions and they're taking notes and they're having their mind blown by some of the amazing presenters here. But the thing that I hear the most is this guilt because everyone's feeling like they're not attending enough. Now, this event is packed from 7 a.m. in the morning till 10 o'clock at night, there is something going on, usually multiple things going on. And I'm hearing saying, even the elevators and colleagues they'll say, quote unquote, I feel so bad. I feel like I should be going to this, but I need to go and rest. I feel so bad. I want to stay here, but my brain just stopped working. And this is the message, you guys. You don't have to do it all. You don't have to meet all of the expectations. You don't have to please all the people. You don't have to push yourself all the time. Now, if you follow me on social media, on Instagram or on Facebook, you will have seen I actually have spent a lot of this conference in my room. I am resting my voice. I am resting my mind. I'm resting my body, because for those of you who know that I have my own medical things going on, I have come to accept that I have to rest. It's not a choice for me anymore. But it's really interesting for me to hear people in like I said, the elevator and the hallways talking as if it is a choice. Like, I feel bad, I want to, but I should and I shouldn't. And here I am, like, feeling like an outsider for the very first time on that, because I'm like, guys, it's not a choice. Go rest. You need the downtime. You need the rest. You need to shut your brain off, because come Monday, you're going to burn out. You're going to be feeling terrible. Let's not leave this conference exhausted, and that's really what I've been practicing. Right now I'm sitting in bed. There's a blanket. I've been snacking out and having my water and my drinks and my tea, and I'm, watching a movie if I need to. You don't have to do it all. Now, this is true for you if you're a parent, a sibling, you're a partner, you're an employer, you're a student. You don't have to do it all. What you do have to do is take care of yourself and rest. Super important. Super, super important. Okay? All right. I'm going to make one last thing. That didn't make any sense. That's because I'm exhausted too, even though I'm resting. I'm going to tell you one last thing, and one thing that I want you to know. And I don't know, you might have mixed feelings about this, but I feel compelled to share this with you. I know many of you who are listening maybe have never met somebody else with an anxiety disorder, and you might be feeling super duper alone. Maybe you've never met a therapist, or you've never spoken to a doctor, and you've never spoken to anybody about what's going on. And you're beginning to wonder if you're the only person who's going through what you're going through. Well, here's the thing. You are not alone. Right here in Austin, I am surrounded by over 2,600 people who are coming together, putting their hand up and saying, I need help. I don't want to be alone. Am I alone? And then the other 2,600 people put their hand up and they say, I don't want to be alone either, and you're not alone, because I'm right here going through the same thing, and it's hard, and it's work, and it's, you can take up huge degrees of your life, but you're not alone, right? You're not alone at all. And even though you may not yet have met somebody with OCD or an anxiety disorder, depression, a mental illness, we're here, we're out there, and you definitely are not alone in your struggles. Okay, I'm going to add one more thing. So really, this was going to be a 5-point podcast, but it's turned into a 6th one. Number 6 is, you guys, let me tell you, because you may not know this, but there are therapists out there who are fighting for you. They are fighting for you. They are advocating for you. I have been to some events where, last night I attended an event where therapists came together and we brainstormed, how can we make this better for these people? How can we provide more services? How can we reach the rural areas where they're not getting any help? How can we educate therapists better about OCD? How can we advocate against people who are mistreating anxiety disorders like obsessive compulsive disorder and phobias and panic disorder, right? How can we make it better? They are fighting for you, and they're passionate, and they're donating their time, and they're presenting, and they're on boards for these things. And I just want you to know that there are people out there fighting for you. You mightn't know it. You mightn't see them. You mightn't meet them. But there are hundreds of therapists at this event, and they're fighting for you. They're learning for you. They're showing up at 7 a.m. in the morning, and they're going till 10 o'clock, and they're invested in getting the right education and information about these disorders. So please don't lose hope. We're growing. We're getting there. We're doing what we can, and I want to be a part of that. And I feel like I am, and I'm so proud. Okay? All right. So I better rest my voice. So I'm going to sign off. I love you guys. Seriously, it just blows me away how incredible this community is. I know I keep saying it, but I just mean it so much. You guys are incredible. So they are the 6 things I've taken away. I hope you took away one nugget of information or hope or a message that is helpful to you. And you guys, we're getting there. We're going to get there. The therapists are working on it. I know you guys are working on it. I know the advocates are working on it. I know the organizations are working on it. We're coming together. This is good. It's taken time, but we're getting there. So I'm hopeful. Okay? Have a wonderful day. It is a beautiful day to do the hard thing. So that's all I have to say. All right. I'll talk to you soon. Please note that this podcast or any other resources from cbtschool.com should not replace professional mental health care. If you feel you would benefit, please reach out to a provider in your area. Have a wonderful day, and thank you for supporting cbtschool.com.